Be like,
Think so.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Free UFC Bet Picks. We're coming at you live today, breaking down UFC 260, Miocic versus Ngannou. Super action-packed card coming up tomorrow, so let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
First up, we've got Abu Azaitar versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Azaitar is the underdog here at plus 108, and Barriault the favorite at minus 126. What are you thinking about this one?
This is a good banger to start off the night. You know, both these guys are known for their wrestling. They're both really strong. Barriault's taller, we know. Azaitar, he's in that Ottman Azaitar family, of course, who they were trying to smuggle something into the bubble and, in Fight Island, and Ottman got kicked out of the UFC. Hopefully he's going to be back. But what's the money line on Abu Azaitar being on roids? Minus 750. It's not, yeah. So he's definitely on roids in my opinion. I think I'll give him an edge there. He's very thick. They had a good stare down. He was like pointing in Marc-Andre's face, trying to so that he could get a photo op of him like pointing in his opponent's face. But then after that, he tried shaking Marc-Andre's hand, and Marc-Andre was just like, "No, bro, I'm not shaking your hand." After that, really exciting little stare down. As I said, they're both good wrestlers. Abu is known for his kind of ground and pound from the guard. He's got wild strikes on the feet, kind of like a hockey fighter, just switching stances, just like walking forward, throwing heavy bombs, kind of like Francis versus Rosenstrike. But he's very raw power, not a lot of technique. Marc-Andre is a little more technical on the feet, bigger, should have a little bit more cardio. But I'm actually, I'm going to go with Azaitar here because of the roids, because he's been working with Khabib, and he's just got the lower center of gravity. I could see him doing some nice cage control. It depends. Like sometimes the taller man can have some advantages when striking against the cage, but when you're just trying to, lay and pray against the cage, that low center of gravity often is really helpful, right? So, I'm going to take Abu. Probably not, it's like we do like to start mixing in some underdogs into the parlays instead of doing 7 or 8, 9 leg parlays, doing 4 leg parlays with three favorites and an underdog. Those are hitting at a higher clip, especially, this year specifically.
Yeah.
But it's a close line. He doesn't quite qualify as a big underdog. I probably am not going to be betting this at all. The over 2.5 is steamed. Do you have a line on whether it's going to go to decision?
I do. I just have to scroll.
Yeah, so it's minus 175 to go to the points.
Mm-hmm.
So
over is minus 192, over 2.5.
Over 2.5, yeah, minus 192. That's not terrible. I think that's almost parlayable, to be honest. Really don't see a finish in this fight early. We'll go Abu, and it's the only early prelim. So I think this fight's actually going to be on Fight Pass. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think I got Abu. We got Beat the Bookie UFC saying go test. Thanks. Think of it. Thinks Abu is a live dog. Yeah, definitely think so.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely think so. For DFS, it's a total pass.
Yeah.
For both, I think. It's just going to be a low volume hugging affair, I think.
Gotcha. All right, moving on to our next one here. It is Alonzo Menefield versus Fabio Charant. Charant coming into his UFC debut here. He's the underdog at plus 245. And Menefield, the favorite, at minus 300. What are you thinking about this one?
It's a tough one. Charant had a little bit of trouble making weight. He's actually still trying to shut it off right now. We just watched the stare downs, basically. Charant was 206.5, so he just had to shed just, half a pound. I'm sure he's going to do it. But that stinks, that's the hardest half pound to get off it, of course, So they did face-offs and stuff, and then he's going back to continue trying to shut off that half a pound. A couple fights ago, he came in at 209. Shout out to the Diaz brothers. So he's had trouble making weight in the past. It's interesting. We know Menefield. We saw him fight OSP. He's got the good resume. He fought Paul Craig and Mojeda and a couple good guys, right? And so we think Menefield's got power, got potential. He gasses out, but he's fighting a short replacement who has trouble making weight. Yeah, maybe he should be the 3-1 favorite that he is. But Charant is good. Charant has a really diverse striking game. He's strong. You could, you see he's not quite as muscled as Alonzo, but he's a beast too. And he's got the, just diverse striking game. Menefield's a little just more straightforward, a little bit predictable even. If Charant had a good weight cut, I'd be not picking him necessarily, but for a bet for his odds, I'd be recommending him as a dog play. But he is having that trouble making weight. Alonzo came in looking great, had no trouble making weight at all, no balance. He didn't look too sucked out or dehydrated or anything. So Menefield's the play, but Charant's really underrated. I think Charant would be a really good DFS play. He's surely one of the cheapest prices of the week.
I don't think we have the DFS prices. We have the
right.
FanDuel prices, but Charant at $9 on FanDuel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So I think that's actually a decent play for Charant, $9. And we don't know the DraftKings scores, yes, but so I think he's live. I'll pick the pick is Menefield, specifically due to the weight cutting issue. I said, man, I'm disappointed. Charant is really good. He's going to stick around in the UFC after this.
All right, moving on to our next one here. It is Mikhail Alexaychik versus Modestus Bukowskis. Alexaychik, the favorite here at -172, and Bukowskis, the underdog at +144. What do you think about this one?
It's a tough fight, exciting fight. Modestus is bigger, more muscle. He's got bigger reach. Alexaychik doesn't look like too physically imposing, but he's got power. He's got lots of power. Really exciting striker, a finisher, knockout artist, basically. I think it's like 7 of his 11 wins are by KO or something, or maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but he's got that same rate, above 50% finish rate, knockout rate, I should say. When Jimmy Crute, common opponent, he beat them both, but he decided to take down Alexaychik, and he was fine boxing up Modestus. Modestus, even before the Jimmy Crute fight, we could see that he's leaving his chin in the air. He's a little more technical with his offense, but his defense than is Alexaychik. Alexaychik's more power, but Modestus is a little more technical with his offensive striking, but his defensive striking is just lackluster. He leaves his head up, and we saw it happen against Crute. We predicted it happening against Crute, and it did. The thing there, though, is Crute decided to box one of these guys and take the other one down. He didn't want to box with Mikhail Alexaychik. He's got power. Interestingly, I was just going to mention, Modestus didn't take off a whole lot of time after that KO. Would have liked to see him take off maybe, 3 more months or so. He's coming back a little fast, in my opinion, against a heavy-handed fighter in Mikhail. Modestus has got the reach and height. He's got the technical offensive edge, but I think he's just super hittable, and Alexaychik is not the one that you want to get hit by. So I'm leaning Alexaychik.
And are you putting either of these guys in your DFS lineups?
I think so. I think Mikhail, $17 on FanDuel is live. This is one of the fights that's least likely to go to decision, right? I think like the under 2.5 has been steamed. So I think Alexaychik's definitely live for a KO, and I think that's good value for DFS.
Yeah. All right, moving on to our next one here. It is Jared Gooden versus Bakar Nurmagomedov. Gooden, the favorite at +205. The underdog at +205. Nurmagomedov, the favorite at -250. Although Gooden does have a 5-inch reach on Nurmagomedov, but that's quite a heavy favorite. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, Gooden's decent. We did pick Joban in a really close pick'em fight there. We did pick Joban, but Gooden was landing hands on him. Gooden's nice, and Joban was showing that damage when he was getting hit. The thing is, Gooden was the only other fighter today to miss weight. He also is still trying to shed it. He was just half a pound or so off. I think like 3/4 of a pound off. This isn't Fight Island where they just 206 and paying it over. Like, they actually really measure these weights, and that's a little bit concerning. I do think that Bakar is going to have the cardio edge, the wrestling edge. Was already leaning towards Nurmagomedov here. definitely leaning towards him now. The thing was, I was really liking him by decision, and he's plus money by decision. The thing is that, you know, you don't want to read too much into the weigh-ins, but man, you know, losing all that water makes your chin go down. You got less water surrounding your brain. You know, I think there's just a slightly greater chance here that Bakar gets a finish against Gooden in this one. But yep, you know, that's pretty much all there is to say. You know, he's being coached by Khabib, you know, Coach of the Year candidate 2020, you know, 2021, whatever year it is. You know, Khabib's just crushing it with all these guys. He, you know, I think Nurmagomedov's going to get the win here.
Yeah.
What are the prices?
In FanDuel, we got $10 for Jared Gooden and $20 for Nurmagomedov.
I think it's pretty much a pass on both. You know, it's definitely expected to go to decision. Gooden doesn't have great get-ups. So, you know, we're not going to see, I don't think, Bakar get like 9 takedowns or anything this fight. I think it's going to be like 5 takedowns. Right. And I think that's going to be all he needs. So I think it's a pass for both on DFS. You know, that's a pretty cheap punt price for Gooden. But I think there's a couple better options, actually.
Yeah. All right. Our next fight is Omar Morales versus Shane Young. Morales, the favorite here at -190, and Shane Young, the underdog at +160. What are you thinking about this one?
Really tough fight. 2 aggressors. They like to come forward. Great strikers. You know, the thing about Shane Young is a little bit hittable. You know, I think Morales is a little more sound defensively. Morales was on a big time winning streak until he went up against Chikadze. You know, we're big on Giga. He's a stud. Yeah. So he, you know, there was no shame there. And Giga's just super tall for the division, as we all know. I think that Morales with the kicks, with just the reach, is gonna get it done here. I think this line is actually a little off. I don't think Morales is a 2-1 favorite. You know, I got him at -190 last I looked, and I think that's a little much. That's the type of price where you start wanting to put him in parlays and things like that. And I am not going to have Omar in any parlays. I do like Omar a lot. I like Shane Young a lot, and Shane looked shredded at the weigh-ins. You know, Shane looks really, really ready here. So I think it's kind of a pass for me for betting. The official pick would be Omar, and I think they're both good DFS plays.
Yeah.
What are the prices, out of curiosity?
Morales $18 and Young $10 on FanDuel.
At that price, you're really needing Omar to get the finish. I think it's okay. So the highest price guy is Sean O'Malley, $23. You know, so that gives you some context. You know, you say $18, that's getting up there. I might think that Shane Young might be a little better DFS play here, in my opinion.
All right, our next fight is Jamie Malarkey versus Kama Worthy. Malarkey is the underdog here at +112, and Worthy the favorite at -132. What are you thinking about this one?
It's a tough one. You know, Malarkey, we think he's going to have the grappling edge here, but we've seen him get out grappled by like Brad Riddell, right? Brad Riddell's a thick, strong beast, but still, you know, if you're telling me you're going to go in here and just take down Kama Worthy and smoke him, you know, I think you should be able to do similar things to Brad Riddell. Kama, he is a little flat-footed. He's not a karate stance McGregor. He's boxing McGregor, you know, and he's just backing up, flat-footed, waiting to land those heavy counters. And it's weird, you know, he is the Death Star. But I get like Star Wars vibes out of this fight. It's like, you know, they're trying to get to the planet. There's 100 ships and they're trying to get down, and they've got these big bombs just trying to blast them on their way in. And half of them get blasted on the way in. Half of them make it to the core and have an easy win once they get there. You know, it's some of you will know exactly what I mean, and some will have no idea. But I think, you know, it's just such a stylistic, you know, I think this might be the most drastic stylistic, you know, disparity, not a mismatch, just difference of styles on the fight, of fighting, you know, on the card. Kama Worthy, we did see Luis Pena take him down time and time again, but Kama Worthy's got good get-ups and reversals from bottom, and he got that nice guillotine against Luis Pena. You know, I think it was like third round. It was late in the fight. Pena was taking him down before that, tell you that. Yeah. So Kama's not like, people love to say that he's kind of first rounder bust, Malarkey's going to drown him. I don't know. We've seen Kama withstand those takedowns for 10 minutes and still be dangerous. I I do think Malarkey at underdog money here, though, is a great underdog pick. Official pick is Malarkey. I'm definitely betting him. Let's see. So Kama sub Bob Ross after wearing on him. I'm heavy on the over 1.5. Have Worthy money line in a few parlays. So yeah, people are liking Worthy and confident that he's not going to just gas immediately. You know, over 1.5 and Kama, that shows it. You know, he doesn't think that Kama's first round knocker to bust like some people make a sound. It is a really, really tough fight. The line is pretty close as a result.
Yeah.
I'll mention this. Malarkey's got a long body. Dominic Reyes torso. He's taller than Kama, but he's got shorter legs and the same arm reach. What's that mean? To me, that means like 3 inches of extra body to strike.
Yeah.
I think that's something to consider. And but I think that he's gonna get the takedowns. I think he's gonna get the takedowns and out grapple Kama here. It is a super tough one, but I'm going with the dog money, Malarkey.
And are you putting either of these guys in DFS?
I think they're both pretty good DFS, especially on DraftKings where they got the kind of scoring changes that favors the wrestling and the control time.
Yeah.
I think that would favor Malarkey a little bit. So I think they're both pretty good DFS plays. This fight's not supposed to end inside the distance. It's favored to go, towards the points. But we know Worthy is definitely live for a knockout, and we know Malarkey is definitely live for some wrestling takedowns and control time.
Yeah.
And so I think they're both okay plays. If I was playing 10 lineups, I might want 3 with Kama, 3 with Malarkey. You don't need 100% exposure to these guys by any means, right? But I think they're both okay plays.
Yeah. All right, our next fight.
Specifically for like tournaments, right? In cash games, you just want to be able to trust winners more. In cash games, you're looking for those underdogs. You're looking for those finishers. So I think this might be I might be sprinkling these guys into tournaments more than cash games. It's a tough one to pick a straight up winner.
All right, next up we've got Jillian Robertson versus Miranda Maverick. Robertson, the underdog here at plus 134, and Maverick, the favorite at minus 158. What do you think about this one?
I like Maverick a lot in this fight. Been putting her in parlays, most of which are dead because they had, Delete. I was putting her in parlays as soon as this fight got announced. I'm big on Maverick. So some Curtis Blades parlays had her in them. We know that Jojua is pretty good, but she's not the level of competition of Jillian Robertson or Jillian Robertson's recent opponents. Like Jojua is in a lower tier, right? Miranda Maverick made her look like she's in a lower tier, though. I think Miranda Maverick belongs in this tier with the contenders. I think she's just a little stronger, better striking, a little meaner. Jillian Robertson is a tremendous, maybe one of the best grappling, submission artists in the division. But Miranda Maverick's been doing jiu-jitsu for 15 years. I think she can't be going in and throwing a bunch of kicks and giving Jillian easy takedown opportunities. As long as she doesn't do that, as long as she keeps it to the hands, I think she's going to stay on the feet. And I think we've seen Jillian not react well to, getting punched. I think Maverick is live for a KO here. And that's like plus 600-ish, plus 500 at worst. Money's pouring in on that, actually. I like Maverick inside the distance. And excited for it, though. I like Robertson a lot. I like both of these fighters.
Yeah. Beat the Bookie says dog losing this time. I don't know if that was in reference to this one or the last fight.
Yeah, I think that was this one. So I think he's going with Maverick as well.
Okay.
We got Neil. Hey, I subscribed to you guys for a while now. Never thought you'll be live streaming. Yeah, it's taken
finally
time to figure it out. Yeah, but thanks, appreciate you. It's a lot of hard work just prepping it, and on our Patreon, we're doing lots of content every single day, so it's a lot of hard work. So, but we love doing these, and we like doing it live because we love seeing your guys' thoughts, and we play some bets. We got some parlays. If you, one of the fights you've already.
Oh yeah, I meant to mention it earlier, but it's coming up. I'll mention it.
So she's got a 2-fighter parlay on this one. But we do a lot of betting like tonight after the weigh-ins and stuff. So we love seeing what your guys' thoughts are. Yeah. So Neil, appreciate you. Thanks for being here.
All right. Did we talk about DFS?
No. What are the prices for Jillian and Miranda?
Robertson is $13 on FanDuel and Maverick is $16. So both kind of mid-range.
Oh, interesting. I think those are both okay plays. Jillian's live for some takedowns and a submission, and Maverick's live for some, a high volume striking affair and maybe even a striking finish. So I think those are both okay plays. I do like Miranda more in a cash game play where we're looking for winners. I am confident that she's going to win. I think, is it $16, 15?
16. Yeah.
I think $16 is a fair price for a fair winner or for a confident winner. In GPPs and tournaments, I think Jillian's a good GPP play.
Yeah. All right, moving on to our next one here. It is Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida. O'Malley, the high favorite here, minus 330, and Almeida, the underdog at plus 265. I do have a two-leg parlay with O'Malley and Menefield. What do you think about this one?
This is a good one, an exciting one. We're excited to see Sean back. He's still, even today at the weigh-ins, he was on set with DC and Lorosenko and whoever else. Aljamain Sterling was there today. He still said, he's still undefeated. It's a fluke. He says, how many times does that happen? It happened to Michael Chandler. It's happened a couple times, right? But he still just thinks it wasn't even a true calf kick. It was just a toe on the nerve. But I kind of agree with him. The thing was, he also hurt his foot 2 years ago, but it's completely unrelated. So it seems related, and you're like, oh, come on, out of your last 4 fights, you got 2 foot injuries. What's up here? But it is unrelated. It's 2 separate injuries. O'Malley, interestingly, he needed to take his mask off. Like, he was like, half a pound over. He had to take his mask off, made weight, and he looked a little like lethargic and kind of dead in the face, in my opinion, but he had no trouble balancing or no energy problems. And then after he hydrated a little bit, he was on set and he was killing it. He's funny. He was back to his old self. So nothing too much to read into there. Thomas Almeida came out with the sunglasses on at weigh-ins, which I don't like, but again, good balance, good energy. I think he's fine. Their weigh-in was pretty intense. Thomas Almeida had like a really kind of angry smile. It was an intense little stare down, is what I meant to say. So really exciting fight here. I do think that O'Malley. So let's talk about Thomas Almeida. He's great, great, exciting fighter. He's got a good level of competition. If you ever played UFC 3, you used Thomas Almeida a lot because he was the first alphabetical fighter in the division, and he had good striking. So you're like, oh, what the hell? Yeah, I'll use him. He's got good spinning elbows, good diverse kicking game. He likes to throw combos and end with a low kick. And if you're one of those that thinks that O'Malley's, susceptible to low kicks now, understandably, Almeida's got good, nice low kicks, and he finishes a combo with them. So we lost our ass because Dana Pineda doesn't know how to finish a combo with the low kick. He's just out there throwing naked low kicks at Cub Swanson all day. Almeida knows how to hide a leg kick a little bit. And so, he's got a good kind of style, good forward pressure, but it feeds a lot into O'Malley's style of fighting as a taller fighter, counter-striking, using movement, setting you up, feigning. I think he's just playing chess, at a whole different level when everyone else is playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots. So I'm leaning O'Malley. I do think he's live for a decision. He's the highest priced fighter on DFS. Yep. So I'm not going to have too much exposure to him. Almeida being the lowest priced fighter on DFS is a great punt play. In my opinion, he's absolutely live to at least score well in a loss if it goes to decision, or he could win, or he could even get a finish. So, I like Almeida's crisp combos. I like his kicks. I like his just cardio. We know what we're going to get from him. We know we're not going to get some weird performance, or, we know he's going to go in there and fight for the money. But I think Almeida could be a bigger underdog here. Even I think O'Malley could be like minus 500, and it would be understandable. I think O'Malley's going to win. I think there's even decent value. Of course, you're not going to play that minus 330 straight up. You're going to parlay it like she did and like I have. So I think O'Malley is a parlay piece. And I think he's going to kind of get back on that trajectory towards superstardom. Wouldn't be going too heavy on him. I do think Almeida's live. So it's an exciting fight. They're both powerful strikers. They're light, so it's favored to go over 1.5, I think. Even, so that kind of seems obvious, but in O'Malley fights, that's not always the case. He's often really expected to get a KO. Yeah. So Almeida by decision is a huge line. that's not a terrible play. Official pick is O'Malley.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Interesting fight of the night contender, big time. He fights too stiff like Cerrone. Yeah, I'm sure you're talking about Almeida there. I doubt you're talking about O'Malley there. I couldn't disagree. He's not got a lot of great movement. He's just very meat and potatoes. He's forward pressure, and he likes to throw the spinning techniques like I mentioned, but those leave him open, if anything, right? So Almeida is not the best defensive striker.
All right, moving on to our co-main event, we've got Tyron Woodley versus Vincente Lucay. Woodley, the underdog here at plus 210, and Lucay, the favorite, at minus 255. Who do you have here?
Got Lucay, and everyone's been, as soon as this fight came out, experts have been saying, "Oh, Woodley, he's going to get killed by Lucay," and I get it. Lucay's bigger than him, got the obvious striking power, volume, pace, technique, got every striking edge. Maybe say, well, Woodley's got a crazy right hand and knocked out Josh Koscheck with, like, oh my God, could you even drive then? Like, how long ago was that? Like, and so, it's a little bit tough to fade a former champion, like a former GOAT challenger, like one of the best welterweights of all time, defending this belt multiple times against stiff competition. It's tough to fade that guy at plus 210 or whatever he is, but we just haven't seen anything that's going to give us confidence that he's going to go in there and try to wrestle Vincente. No, we haven't seen anything that says he's going to go in there and like mix it up, make it dirty, make it greasy, do some dirty boxing and like get in his face and make it a phone booth fight. No, he thinks he's Chuck Liddell or he thinks he's Conor McGregor or something. He just backs up, waiting to throw that right hand, and all of a sudden he runs into the cage, and all of a sudden he's getting taken down by people that he's like a better wrestler than on paper. He's getting boxed up by people that don't box everyone up, and so yeah, his last 3 fights have been against like champions or future champions, in my opinion, or at least contenders: Burns, Colby, and of course Usman, the GOAT. I think he would beat GSP in his prime. He's amazing. So Usman just kind of was the first one, and you can make it excusable. He just cage controlled Woodley. But after that, these guys are just showing that Woodley, like, if you just outbox him, all you have to do is outpoint him, back him up, just put a little bit more volume on him, mix it up a tiny bit, and just not get blasted by that right overhand. It's a very easy path to victory for these guys lately. So I would love to say that Woodley's going to come in here and wrestle, and he would just be such a great underdog pick. And I do think that he is live. I'm not putting Lucay in like any parlays really. It's such a tough fight, but Lucay should slaughter. I think it's a decision either way. Lucay by decisions plus 200, plus 250, somewhere in there, plus 225, plus 230, plus 200 at worst. That's awesome. That's awesome value right there. And then, Woodley by decision is great value as well. So if you could just pick the fight to go to decision or the over 2.5, but those have been steamed. I think if you have a strong lean in this fight, pick them to win by decision. And if you don't, stay away. Right. The thing is, I really think the main event is a good fight to pass on. This is a great fight to watch and not bet on. So you want to have some money on the co-main. I'll mention this. You don't want to end your parlays with a underdog. All right. You don't want to end your parlays with a big underdog, especially. If you've got a nice 6-leg parlay and Lucay is about to bring it home to you, you have the opportunity to hedge there. But if you have a big, 4 or 5-leg parlay and Woodley has a chance to win you a huge payday, like, you don't even have the opportunity to hedge there. You just have to write it out and hope that Woodley wins. Now, like, I don't hedge because, if I'm playing a 10-1 parlay, yeah, I'm going to lose that 9 times and I'm going to win 1 time, right? At least. But the thing is, those people who are finally going to win that 1 time, they screwed themselves by cashing out early or hedging. So I don't do it. I'm a ride or die. It screwed me with Connor. It screwed me with Blades. But no, I'm still, it's the way to be. I'm not a big hedger. But if you're playing a crazy long parlay where you're about to like be on, Instagram blowing up, going viral with your parlay, end it with a favorite, not an underdog, so you can at least hedge, right? So if you got Lucay as the last leg of your parlay, I get it, especially for that reason.
Neil says this fight has red flags for me, betting wise.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I like Lucay a lot, but this line is a little too wide in my opinion.
Yeah.
What are their FanDuel prices?
FanDuel Woodley is $11 and Lucay is $21.
I think that's too much for Lucay. He could just box him up and have a crazy high volume, fight here. But to me, that's almost a pass for both. Which is surprising because they've both got tremendous power. $10 for Woodley, former champ. I think that's a fine punt play. But when we know the fight's going to go to decision, we know it's going to be low volume. We know Woodley's not going to do anything at all. You can see Lucay holding Woodley against the cage and giving him some knees here. It's just ridiculous what the spots that Woodley allows himself to get into here lately. So I think it's a pass for both on DFS. I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on that, but let me know.
Yeah. All right. We will move into our main event here. Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. Miocic, the underdog here, +100, and Ngannou, the favorite, -118. Close money line here. What are you thinking about this one?
Oh gosh, it's tough. So I've been leaning Stipe for the weeks leading up to it, but I'm starting to just lean Francis a tiny bit. So lots to talk about here. Stipe, he had the wrestling edge last time. He had there's a famous highlight of him missing, ducking 5 punches, kind of Tyson Fury style. But we remember Stipe's face was marked up. He was getting hit. Yeah. It was 25 minutes in there with Francis, of course, but early he was getting hit a little more than I would like to see. We've seen him get knocked out by DC, of course, right? So people are like, well, so the Stipe folks are like, what's different than last time? Yeah, we know Francis's knockout power, right? But he had that same knockout power last time. The Francis people will say, no, we've seen Stipe finish twice now. Stipe's going to retire. Stipe doesn't care anymore. I don't know. We haven't seen him finish twice, but we've seen him finish, and we have concerns about his future and how long he wants to stay around. I don't really buy that. Yes, we saw him got knocked out. DC got that great ground and pound on him, epic photo. But I'm not too worried about his chin, and it held up, fine against DC in the second and third fights. Stipe, it came in a little heavier today on purpose, not in a bad way, but he put on a little more weight today for Francis than he had in his last fight against DC. In the 3 fights against DC, he was getting lighter. All 3 fights, he came in lighter, and he was being faster, had better cardio, and that got him the victory. He intentionally put on a little bit of extra muscle for this fight against Francis. Francis came in at the exact same weight that he came in for the first Stipe fight, except he's even more shredded now. It's crazy to call that old Stipe little puffy, but he was just a little puffy. This new Francis is just shredded, even more shredded. So crazy as that sounds. So it's interesting in Francis's interviews leading up to this fight, he's been very calm, but he says, I had no emotion that last time. He asked Francis, why is this fight going to be different this time? He says, because I'm ready. It's going to be different. I had no emotion last time. But he is so calm and cool and emotionless saying that. If you listen to the interviews from the first time, he's saying, maybe he was just trying to sell the fight. Maybe he was trying to be a little bit Conor McGregor, but he didn't talk a little smack. But he's saying Stipe knows he's going to get knocked out. Stipe knows. And he was fiery during that first fight. So we've got this incredibly calm Francis saying the problem last time was that I had no emotion. So it's a little weird. He says, I hate watching that first fight. I don't even recognize that guy. He looks like me, but I don't recognize him. He was just coming in so reckless. I'm like, bro, did you watch your fight against Rosenstrike? He was hitting with the bottom of his hands, saucer of milk honey. He was going in there with crazy combo. No technique, not even hitting him with his knuckles, not terrible. And it just melts him. It's plenty. It would melt anybody on the planet if it lands. But it's interesting for Francis to say, oh, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not the guy that went in reckless. When yes, you are. And when are you not? Are we going to see a calm, reserved, just lower pace Francis that's going to try to draw this fight out? Oh, we've seen that guy. He lost to Derek Lewis. I don't know. I have some concerns about Francis's game plan here. Francis needs to go in and knock him out in first round. If Francis thinks I'm going to draw this out and wait for Stipe to get tired and knock him out late, that makes no sense to me. So, there's a lot of table talk. You can't trust everything these guys say. They're sitting next to their opponent or their opponent's listening, so there's some table talk involved here, but it's just really interesting to hear Francis in these interviews, in my opinion. Stipe thinks that he's got it. Stipe doesn't act. Stipe doesn't say he's going to quit after this. Stipe's getting those pay-per-view points. This is a big pay-per-view card here. Stipe's getting that white glove treatment. He's not getting the Kamaru Usman pay-per-view cards where it's Kamaru and a bunch of nobodies. Stipe's getting that card with three title fights on it. That type of treatment, right? Just like, there's not 3 title fights on it, but he's getting that just like big time treatment. You're giving him T. Woodley, like they're giving him those good cards. Previously, the last time he fought Francis, I think it was DC versus John Jones was like the co-main or something. Like, they're giving Stipe these big money paycheck fights. And I don't have any concerns that he's like going to leave anytime soon. I think he's very happy. So, I've been leading up to this. I've just been super confident on Stipe. But, watching the tape again, he was getting hit a little too much. I'm a little nervous. And to me, it is pretty much a pass. I'm really excited to watch it just with an appreciation and with fun and like not being pissed off so
yeah.
I'm leaning towards a pass. The official pick is Stipe underdog. It's going to be the one that we released on IG. But, man, I'm not as confident as I was a week ago.
Kendall says over 1.5 all day and 9 times on Saturday.
Yep. So, yeah, over 1.5. Absolutely agree. If you're picking the over 1.5, I think you're picking Stipe too. So, Stipe by decision is a juicy number. But I think Stipe by late KO. I like to play those like round 5 props. We got super close on one lately. I can't remember which one it was. Oh, so like Gilbert Burns was Kamaru. We really needed the over 2.5 there, and we were going to hit crazy parlays, and it finished like just under the 2.5. And then we really needed him to finish him in round 4 instead of round 3 like he did. So that was close. But we hit huge on Colby to finish Woodley by round 5 KO. So that was a while ago. So that shows how often these hit. But we do like those late round 5 KOs and stuff like that. So I might be sprinkling a little Stipe round 5 KO in there.
Yeah. And Neil says, I would say Stipe has to be perfect for 5 rounds. Francis only has to be perfect for 1 second. Francis drops off dramatically after the 2nd round.
Every word of that was exactly accurate.
Yep.
So that's the thing. But it's, you could say it the other way. Stipe just can't be imperfect for one. He just has to avoid that one huge crack in the road. It kind of cuts both ways, right? Like, because Francis can't just land any second. Francis has got to get those opportunities. He has to make them count. Last time Stipe was up against a cage a couple times, like the one I was describing where he ducked 6 straight punches. Francis has got to make him pay in those opportunities. I think Francis with some body work would be really wise here. And we know that Stipe might be going to that body like he did against DC. So, I think that Francis needs to count on defending the body, and I think he should be going to Stipe's body too. But because if you're just headhunting Stipe, it's going to be a long night.
And did we talk about DFS prices for these
nope.
guys? All right, so we've got Miocic at $19 and Ngannou at $20. So very close there.
Yep, high exposure both ways. Thanks, Neil. High exposure both ways. Playing, if you're playing 10 lineups that have 5 and 5 probably. Francis is, like just $1 more expensive, and he's live for a knockout. So maybe if you want a little more help, then Stipe would probably be a better cash play, and Francis a better GPP play. Francis in a double up or a cash game, 50-50. That's what a cash game is. A GPP is a guaranteed prize pool, like the tournaments where you're trying to be in the top 10 out of 10,000 people. That's where you need those underdogs and those finishers, right? But when you're playing a double up against just one person, I think $20 on Francis is way too pricey. It might be too pricey on both of them. So I'd say a GPP, incredibly high exposure. Double ups, yes, they're very good plays. They're fighting 5 rounds. They've got 10 extra minutes to score. They're live to knock each other out. They're heavyweights. Like, we know all these things, right? So, but I think they're better GPP plays because they're both really high in price, deservedly so.
All right, I think that's a wrap.
Oh shit!
No.
So like I promised that we were going to talk about.
Oh yeah.
So let me pull up my stats. We're going to talk about NBA first basket scorer. So this has been just the most profitable thing for a while now. So hitting crazy parlays. We had like a $5 to $600 parlay a couple. Hui Hachimura to score first or something like that. Friends, who wins these jump balls? What do they do on their first possession? Are they going inside? Are they running a pick and pop? So like the Heat like to go to Duncan Robertson for that first shot. He might only score like 10 points a game, and Jimmy Butler scoring 20, and Heroes even scoring more, Bam scoring more. Lots of guys scoring more throughout the game than Duncan, but on the first basket of the game, Duncan Robinson scores like 25% or something. I'm sorry, I'm pulling it up here. So there's just certain trends that happen in first basketball scorers. There are certain teams that suck, but they win like 80% of the jump balls. And there's certain teams that are good that win no jump balls. So it's a really, really kind of a lucrative opportunity here. And a lot of times the sports books, they're just putting these lines on the money line. So they say, okay, the Jazz are minus 400. Well, they must be like minus 150 to score first then, right? They're the better team. They're going to score more. They should score first. They should also probably score last more. Like, they think they're any prop. Like, who scores here? They say, well, the Jazz. They're going to slaughter by 20. So, of course, it's the Jazz. It's not the case. All right. So, for tonight, we've got the Nets versus the Pistons. The Nets are one of the best teams in first basket scoring. We got the Bucks versus the Celtics. The Bucks are very good. We got some really good matches. Like, we're gonna have a lot of plays today. The last couple of days, we have like kind of the crappy teams have been playing each other. The good teams have been playing each other. There's a lot of disparity today, so lots of action. So Nets, Bucks. The Suns got the Raptors. We like the Suns there. The Nuggets and the Pelicans are both actually really good. People think Jokic doesn't have hops, which is true, but he's a good jumper most of the time. Pelicans, though, probably going to win that tip and probably score first. The Timberwolves, they only score like 45%. They only win like 45% of the jump balls, but they've been really hot lately. We just hit Cat at plus 490 a couple days ago. So Karl Anthony Towns is taking the Timberwolves' first shot like 7 out of the last 10 games. It's really wild. So we're hammering Cat lately. Got the Trailblazers versus the Magic. Vucevic is Vucevic just got traded. We need to do a little bit more digging for our Patreon members because these trades are going to change some of this. But I think the Trailblazers, I don't even know who's going to be jumping for Orlando. Let me see. Yeah, I don't have it. I don't know who's going to be jumping for Orlando. But I think the Trailblazers are going to score first in that game. The Heat going to score first against the Charlotte Hornets. The Mavericks are a good first basket team. And then the Cavs. The Cavs have the Lakers. The Lakers, I don't even know who they have right now. It's somebody like 6'8", if I recall. All right, so Nets, Bucks, Heat, Mavs, Cavs would be the best ones. So for Brooklyn, they've won only 50% of the tips lately, but normally they're winning much more than that. In Detroit, they only win like 4 out of 10. Normally they're 42% in the season, but they've won 6 out of their last 10 jump balls. So maybe I need to ease off on that. Nets one a little bit, but I really like Joe Harris. They run that first set for Joe Harris a crazy amount of the time. He scores the first game's field goal at 22%. 22%. So you think his odds should only be like plus 4 something, plus 5 something. He scores the Nets' first field goal at 27%. He's plus 750. So Joe Harris is a guy that we often like to play. I think he's a good play tonight. For the next one was the Bucks. We like Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday has been scoring first a lot. He's scoring when he starts. He scores the game's first basket at almost 1/4 of the time. And he scores the Bucks' first basket at 37%. He's plus 700. Giannis is the most consistent first scorer on the team, but lately, since Drew's been playing and starting, he's actually scoring more often than Giannis, who's only plus 360. Next game, like the Suns, they like to go to Ayton early. Ayton scores the Suns' first basket at 33% of the time. He's plus 550 or so. So, you know, that's a solid one. Booker is always the Suns' leading scorer, but he does not take the first shot very often at all. Yeah, and Phoenix is hot lately. They've won 7 of the last 10 jump balls. All right. The Rockets, I think, you know, Rockets Timberwolves is an interesting matchup. We talked about Cat. So he's actually scored the first team field goal. He scored the Timberwolves' first field goal 6 out of the last 10. He's taken the shot like 7 or 8 out of the last 10. So we like Cat. He's, you know, plus 480 or so. He was plus 490 the other day. They're bringing his odds down a little bit. On the Houston, so this is a tough one. You know, Houston, they're actually, you know, winning the jump balls. Lately, they've had a lot of different jumpers. We all know they were playing that small ball lineup, but you know, they're winning 60% of the jump balls now. So you know, that's a tough one. So I want to hammer Cat, but they might not win the jump tonight. For the Heat, I told you we like Duncan Robinson a lot, and Bam always takes their first shot a lot of the time. So both Duncan and Bam, they score the game's first field goal at like almost 20%, like 18%. And they score the Heat's first field goal at 33% for Bam, 36% for Robinson. Like they're scoring the Heat's first bucket more than 2/3 of the time. They're plus 750 and plus 650. So we love Bam and Duncan. Go blue. Dallas for the Mavericks, they're a little tough because you know, Luka and Kristaps are both the good options there, and they both are, you know, plus 400, plus 500 or so. So it's kind of just like what we feel when Luka has a bad point guard on him, like a small point guard, he will take it to the whole first possession. But if he's got a formidable defender on him, then we'd lean towards Kristaps. And last one, the Cavs. They win 80% of jump balls, believe it or not. It's the highest in the league. You know, when Embiid's playing, he wins at a very high clip as well. But, you know, Cleveland winning 80% of their jump balls. They score first, 59%. They're playing the Lakers, who typically they're not a terrible first basket team, but, you know, right now they definitely are. So hammer the Cavs. A lot of times, so the other night, you guys might have seen it on the IG. One of our Patreon members, he hit the Cavs to score first at like plus 300 or something wild. Normally they're pretty even money, you know, minus 110 or whatever. But yeah, you know, we posted it on our story and on our page. Like one of our guys hit the Cavs at a wild number. So you know, the Cavs should score first. It might even be worth playing them from a team perspective. First team to score. Under FanDuel, it's tough to find. You have to go to first quarter, and then it's who's the first team to score in the first quarter. It's a little weird, but I like the Cavs there. You know, we've been writing a lot of Jared Allen. He scores the game's first field goal at 19%. He scores the Cavs' first field goal at 33%, and he's plus 600. He's great value. Garland and Sexton are decent as well, but you know, Jarrett's the best play for the Cavs. So hope you guys like that. You know, so every day on our Patreon, we give a long, detailed description of the recent trends, the jump ball winners, who's inactive, who's playing, you know, who's got the best odds. We shop and we say, you want to play this guy. If you're playing this guy, play him on DraftKings. If you're playing this guy, play him on FanDuel. And it's one of our Patreon members' favorite parts of being a patron. So thanks. Hit last week, round 3 finish. Very nice. Would say Stipe has to be perfect. Oh, yeah, we got that one. Yep. Yeah, so thank you all very much. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we're excited. We're going to cook some wings probably and have some folks over and watch these fights.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and commenting, and yeah, enjoy those fights tomorrow, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yep. We'll be doing the parlays and props, the degenerate props that never hit, that you should absolutely fade, but the parlays that are really solid, we'll be you know, releasing everything on YouTube, Instagram or whatever, like always. So just thank you all for the support. Thank you to all the Patreon members. Glad you guys are killing it. We hope to have a hot NBA night tonight.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Sweet 16. Sweet 16 tomorrow. Detailed breakdowns coming down, like a page on every single, all 8 games. So really good. All right. Last time we're saying bye.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.